Hello everybody, I'm Paul Carroll. I am the webmaster for wheelinglights.com. It is May 8th, 2013. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. On my dashboard I have a dash cam, and with this dash cam I will be taking a drive around right now Wheeling Island. Wheeling Island is my home. I've lived here for 51 years. Everything's kind of changed a lot in that time frame. Matter of fact, if you look to the right there, you're going to see an open field that used to be Gruber Apartments. If you lived in Wheeling, you probably have seen it. It was a pretty big apartment complex at one time. A lot of houses that were here are now gone. Some things have taken their place. If you look at the right, you'll see Burger King, and on the left we have KFC, and of course good old-fashioned Madison School. Still looks as good as it's ever. And they tore down the red building. We're going to come up here, hang a right, and then we're going to hang a left. And get ready to make my turn here. But when we make my left, you will see that we have an open parking lot. And that open parking lot used to be the red building. And for those of that age who remember the red building, that's what's left of it. Nothing. Just an open field with parking lot. We are now on Maryland Street. As you can see, we're going to hang a right here. And we're going to come on down to North Front. As we're driving on the island, you can see a lot of the houses here still remain. A lot of them are vacant. A lot of people have moved away, but the people who have remained have done good jobs keeping their houses up, making them respectful, and making Wheeling proud. So now we're heading up on North Front, and right here on the right used to be my third grade teacher, Mrs. Moss, and we're still driving on here, and there's still quite a few people who live on Wheeling Island. The population has probably been on a steady decline for the last 20 years. But, you know, still it's a beautiful place to live. If you want to live in West Virginia, I still recommend the island. And up here on the left, you will see Golden Chopsticks. And for those who are really old, you remember that as Mary's... something Mary's DeCarlos or something like that. Okay, up here on the left with the car with the brake lights on and the reverse lights, you're going to see what's left of the food land. And the food land is now garbage. Storage. And now we're going to be coming around the hanging on the left here. And of course, if you look at the right, you can see the Ohio River. And now we're hanging a left, and we'll head up around Ballau, and if you look straight ahead, you're going to see the Etnaville Bridge. It is closed, has been closed for about 10 years. Now we're heading up towards Ballau. Ballau is the northern part of Wheeling Island. This is where you can't go any further with a car. Of course, you can walk for another probably 500 or 600 feet till the you get to the river itself. It's a nice day. It looks like it's going to rain pretty soon, but you know, a lot of people are out playing, and goth girls. It's funny. So, anyways, we're taking a turn up here on the northern section of Wheeling Island. This is Ballau and Little Ballau Park, and now we're heading back down. And let's see here. Not much on this street. Just this is one of the first streets that gets flooded. Whenever there's anything going on with the Ohio River, when it gets up to be about 34, 35 feet, this is like one of the first places that gets it. It looks good on the cameras because, you know, it could turn a minor flood into, you know, there's a street flooded on Wheeling Island, and of course it makes all the local news. But, okay, up here you will see, let's just make sure we're not getting in the way of anybody. We're not. This is North Huron Street. North Huron, for those who are not familiar, is one of the longest streets on the island. It goes from north end to south end. Still probably one of the most populated streets on the island. All houses are, you know, pretty well maintained here, and you know, they decorate quite nicely around the holiday season. And up here on the left, behind it, when we get in front of this red van, used to be East Steps. East Steps was a local grocery store that people would walk to. They used to deliver. They used to do a whole bunch of stuff. Now up here we have AJ's. AJ's has been around forever, and they are still open. And as a matter of fact, if you look behind AJ's, you're going to see an open sign. And this just opened up recently. It's an ice cream shop. And it's kind of cool because it's privately owned. And but, you know, it's nice to see that, you know, somebody's putting some pride into being in Wheeling Island. I will hang right here, and we will head up towards the Island Marina. The Island Marina is next to Bridge Park. And Bridge Park, when we, well, we can't hang a left here, but they actually replaced the Wheeling Firehouse, and I'll point that out when we come back. But they put the firehouse in Bridge Park, which was a movement from when it used to be where on Zane Street, and it got bought out by the people who owned the Exxon, and they turned it. We'll talk all more about that later. So this is the Island Marina. When I was 15 years old, the summer of me being 15, the summer of me being 16, I used to work here. I used to sign in the boats, so if there was any type of tragedy or somebody needed to find out if there was a boat on the river, they could always come up and I can show them my log of, you know, who came in and, you know, when they came in and when they left. Right here used to be a building, and the building was a restrooms. Used to clean that constantly. This is where a lot of people learn how to drive for the first time because it's a nice private road, and once we get up over this little hump here, you're going to see that, you know, you have a turn you can negotiate, you have to go up a hill, all that kind of stuff. Over here on the right, you'll see the picnic benches. That is from a couple years ago, but people like to have a picnic there. My dad actually chipped in on that financially, and well, along with a lot of other people. I need to say, it wasn't just him, it was a lot of other people. There's, to the left, you'll see the Etnaville Bridge, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of follow this car a little bit, and instead of going out that way, I'm going to go ahead and come back around again, so you could actually see what's left of the Etnaville Bridge. Kind of like aim here, but you can see parts of it still there. It's falling apart, but yet it's, you know, still there. Coming back down the ramp, and down this way you will see the ramp going down to the river for people to unload their boats. I will kind of like take a little shot. There's the Ohio River, nice and calm. People fishing, playing, whatever. Fishing. And they call it the Island Community Shelter. It's not a road, but, you know, let's go ahead. I'm driving a hybrid. There we go. So anyways, this is the Island Marina. Again, it's been here quite some time, over 35 years, I would say. not really in bad condition, but you know, it is maintained. Now we're going to go ahead and come back down North Erie Street. And North Erie, a lot of people, I guess. I gotta watch my speed. Had friends lived up here. Used to ride my bicycle all over this island when I was a kid. Apparently somebody's getting some gas work done. But there are a few restaurants on the island. Golden Chopsticks is, you know, one of our Chinese restaurants that, you know, my son and then wife and I will, every other Saturday, we will do lunch there because it's a very good deal. On Zane Street, you do have the, as you saw, the Burger King to KFC. Convenient Food Mart is still in business. We'll be driving by that. Now, if you look up ahead, you're going to see that big building up there. That's next to the Bridge Park Pool. That is the firehouse. Engine Company number 5. They just moved it from Zane Street onto Bridge Park. And I can't hang a right, but, you know, it's, I'll see what I can do when I come up here. Coming back up on A&J's, used to go there as a kid when I would leave Madison School. Anybody who grew up on the island remembers a whole bunch of little stores. And, you know, South End, which we haven't even hit yet, but we'll talk about a few of those. More houses that were here that are now gone, and people flying on their bikes. To the left here is West Banco. Used to be, well, I guess it always was. On the right used to be Merry Mint, now it's Abby's. And, I don't know, let me get my vantage point on my camera here, see what you guys can see. Okay, ahead of us is the bus depot. It's been there forever. Hasn't really changed much. And, green means go, I guess, for me. But up here on the left, you can see the used to be the Arco station. Now it's at, they actually bought out the engine company and turned it into a store. There's Convenient Food Mart coming underneath I-70, heading south on South Huron. Smokers Friendly here on the left. And as you can see, houses are becoming more sporadic here because you can see where they've been tore down, and fields have taken their place. Neighbors will sometimes gather together and cut the grass because some of this is all absentee landlord stuff, and they're not going to come back and clean anything. So let's hang a left here, and we are going to drive on Virginia Street. And Virginia Street, as we came up, you saw on the left here was Gruber Apartments. And this, of course, long since gone. Over here on the right, where the trees, the shrubs, and the bushes are, that used to be GC's. GC's was a little store that, you know, you would go to, like nickel candy, dime candy. Right here on this corner was Minute Market, if you happen to remember that. Then up here on the left of this corner used to be a bar, and then right here where the green building is, on the left, that was a pizza villa. Loved it. And, of course, on the right here was McAllister's Drugstore, which is now an abandoned building. On the left was the Minute Car Wash, or the Jiffy Wash. It's now closed. And over here where it says Island Coffee, a long time ago was a Quaker State gas station, and then they built that building and made it into a Domino's. Now we're coming south on South Front Street, heading to the farthest tip of the south end that we can go. On the left here, you'll see the island, the House of the Carpenter, and it's a nice building. Too nice for the island. Anyways, still driving on down. A lot of expensive houses on the street, a lot of old houses from the Victorian days of Wheeling. People lived here when Wheeling in the 1900s. You have to Google this one, kids, but back in the 1900s, Wheeling was one of the richest cities in the United States. Not that today, but anyways, that's when the people lived on the island. This was if you were playing a game of Monopoly and it was Wheeling, this would be Boardwalk. Up here used to be a golf cart. You used to be able to rent little, not golf cart, but go-kart racing. It kind of lasted for about 5 or 6 years and they tore it out. Sadly to say, this is what's left if you look ahead of us of the Expo Hall. The Expo Hall, again, it was built back in the days when Wheeling was the hub for the West Virginia State Fair, and that's why they called it the Expo Hall, because people would put all their, what Wheeling or West Virginia had to offer in there. And of course ahead of us is Wheeling Island Racetrack and Gaming. You know, it has built itself up over the decades, and I used to work there. Actually, my wife and I used to work there in the 80s. Actually, she worked there in the 70s, too. Over here on the left, Godfathers. Yes, we have adult entertainment on Wheeling Island, and you only thought it was on the streets. No, folks, it's also in the clubs. Right up here on the left is what used to be the Downs Club. The Downs Club was a favorite amongst the locals here. They had a pretty big floor, nice bar, and, you know, long since gone. A lot of people here on this street do a good job maintaining their properties, keeping things nice. It's always a pleasant thing to see. As we're heading north here, we're going to head up north to Virginia Street again, where that flashing red light is. And then we're going to take it across the Suspension Bridge. And that will conclude my trip around Wheeling Island. Up here on the left, you'll see the Tropicana. For people who remember the Tropicana, it was Wheeling's restaurant. A lot of people would go there. They had like a little bar, you know, grill type situation. Voodoo on the right, private club now, but again, anybody who lives on the island knows of the Voodoo. And actually, I'm going to head up another block here. So on the right here, you can see where the Jiffy Wash was. And now we're still heading north here. And up here on the corner where the van is getting ready to hang a right, it's called Chucko's. And Chucko's, if you remember, a long time ago it was Bellamar, and that's where you would always be able to get fish sandwiches and, you know, other types of, you know, neat food. Up here on the right is the remnants of PC's Irish Pub. PC was my father, and that's what's left of it. So anyways, Northgate Contracting on the left here, and we're coming up. If you look straight ahead, you can see the Suspension Bridge. I'm a big fan of that bridge. It makes me proud to be part of West Virginia and Wheeling when I look at it. Straight ahead, of course, Bow Wow Boutique. They take care of all your animal needs for washing, trimming, making them look pretty. And now we're coming up on the Suspension Bridge. I'm not going to talk as we cross the Suspension Bridge. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the sound the tires make going on the steel gird. Okay. Now we're coming into downtown Wheeling, and one signal light can successfully have gone through. Let's see if we can do two. So we're going to come back across the Fort Henry Bridge, and the Fort Henry, of course, is I-70 from West Virginia into Ohio. But on the island, it's known as Exit 0, and Exit 0 is because, well, there's no more mile markers. It's 0 because you're on the island. This part of West Virginia is about 14 miles wide, and this, of course, is the tail end of it. So this is the Fort Henry Bridge. They redecked the Fort Henry Bridge back like in '93, holding up very well. And of course, as we get closer to it, you can see Wheeling Island, and it does say exit 0. So we take the exit here, descend onto Wheeling Island, and if you look up ahead, you're going to see Burger King, and pretty good business. They took out a lot of houses there. Matter of fact, for those who grew up on the island a long time ago in the 70s, there used to be a place there called Chuck Wagon. And when we went to school at Madison, we used to go to the Chuck Wagon and get lunch. Not allowed to do that today. Again, KFC, and of course this is where the fire station was on the left, and it's now beer, wine, tobacco, you name it, you got it. The Marathon up here on the left, West Banco on the right, Abby's Lounge, I guess that's where the Merriment used to be. Used to have a laundromat there too, or did they? I don't know. Yes, they did. We're going to come up here to the Bridgeport Bridge, which if you grew up in Wheeling and you're no longer in this town, the Bridgeport Bridge was tore down. They raised it a couple of years ago. They built this new bridge about 9 years ago, and it actually is a lot better because it's wider, safer, and more aligned up with the road. To the right here, you can see the Island Pool, Bridge Park. I'm going to hang a left here, come down. This used to be the Zane Athletic Club. Here where it says Gumby's, it's now a cigarette place. And now we're coming down South Wabash Street. Not this section, but it's sort of like the second lowest street on the island. Not many houses on the street. Used to be quite a few, but now it's kind of opening itself up. A lot of abandoned houses. Up here on the left, used to be Max Holiday, I think. Max Holiday. Now it's the Island Grill. Still in business. Slot machines in there for your pleasure. If you have money to throw away, there you go. Wheeling Downs, I'm just being cynical. Anyways, coming up on Ohio Street. And Ohio Street is, again, the last street on the south end. It goes from east to west, all the way across. Now we're coming down towards the end of South Wabash Street, and this is where Jensen's Playground is. And if you look ahead, you'll see a whole bunch of trees with the American flag. That's my house. Do a major display for Christmas there. I'm sure you've probably seen it. If you've been on this website, I'm sure you've already seen that show. Now we're coming back home. Thanks for watching, and hope it brought back some memories. And if not, email me and tell me what I did wrong. Okay, folks, have a good night.